Hi everyone, this is Raj. So welcome back to a new video. So by the way, if you're new to this channel, we do web development tutorials, we do UI design tutorials, we do programming tutorials, Python and much more. So if you're new, consider subscribing and leave a like if you love this video. So welcome back. As I told, today we are going to design a very simple color palette generator, and the design inspiration is coming from UI Design Daily. So it's a fantastic platform, so we can use the designs and we can code it. It could be an inspiration, it could be implementing in a real world site, whatever. So as you guys can see, we're going to implement this color palette generator from scratch using HTML and CSS. So that's what I told. If you're a beginner, completely beginner, don't worry, we can pretty much start from scratch and finish it properly. So yeah, let's get started with the video. And also this should be completely responsive. I'll also do the responsiveness. So it's not responsive here, but I'll do the responsiveness of this in this video as well. Okay, so drop a like if you love it. So I'll make more of this. Alright, so I do have a Visual Studio Code open. So this is the text editor that I'm using. So two files, index.html and a style.css. So in the index.html, I've created a simple boiler template, linked my style sheet, have the title, and just commented that code. So this is how where the code is gonna go. And the style.css, we're just doing a simple browser reset where we remove the margin, padding, and the border box. Okay. So if you're using something like a live server or something, you can right click and open this widget up in the live server, which will take you to your live server. All right. So let's straight up get started. So if you leave the link for this design, so you can just go straight click on the link and just get this design first, and then you can continue the video watching. So you can watch this in one side and do it in the other side. Okay. All right, so the first thing that I want to do, I'll just first of all discuss what I've done. So this is basically the alert we get when we click on it. The alert is that I'm going to do it in the last. I'm going to do it last because you only get it when we click on one of these. So first of all, we have a heading, and then we have a div with five div blocks. So inside that is two divs, which is just for the color and which is just a text. Okay, then we have border radius. Then we can use grid to put it up like that. And then we have another div which is sort of like the footer, where we have this generate and sort of a info. It says that spacebar to generate new palettes. And then you also have another white color button, which is like so. We can do it pretty fast. So the first thing that we're going to do, let's create a section. So the first one is just going to be section 1. So first of all, we want to say section dot. So I'm using emit here, so it's easy for me to just click enter. It's going to be a class. And then section with the section 1. First of all, we're in the heading. So the heading is called it's color palette. So generator. Okay, generator, and that's what we need. And if you just see whether it's working, yeah, it's getting generated. Okay, and the next one, we're going to have a simple div, and this is the div that we're going to use to align this stuff and more. So for now, I'll just put it here, so until we do the HTML. So first we're going to work with that. So this div is going to be a class of colors. Okay, and this div will have a one div called color. Simple as that. And this can go up to 5 or 6 depending on how you do. So inside div, first of all, let's do for the first one. So the first one, we have one color, which is like the off white. So we're going to create a simple div, okay, which is going to be, sorry, it's a div, and let's create its the color image. Okay, so it's all like the color image, and this is where we're gonna define the width and the height and have the image. And the second div, we will have it a class of color text. Simple as that. Okay, so we have the image and the text, and now we can repeat this up on how many colors we want. So in this case, it's basically 5. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep this empty because we're gonna do it in CSS, and this one we can just say hashtag double E, I guess it's triple E D, oops, bad typing, so triple E D F, and it's an O. Okay, so that's the first color we have. And now we can just simply copy the color, like not the colors, just a color div, copy that. We can paste this 5 times for now. Okay, and at last, once we are done, we can change up the text and the colors, but for now we just need this. And if you see, we just have this basic HTML. Now I'm going to go for the style.css quickly, and let's work on the styling. So the first one we want to say, we have a section with a section, we have one section which is section 1, and what I want to do, I want to just text align everything to center. So the h1 here, it's just gonna, oops, that's, oh, it's section 1 over there. Okay, now everything is just going to go to the center, so we need to push that down, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a margin top for the whole section itself. So let's get a margin top of 200 pixels. Okay, so it's going to come way more down, or I guess 150 should be fine. Okay, 150 pixels. And now I'm just going to separate the heading. So first of all, we have an h1 there, so we want to say h1, and we have to give this some margins. So margin, not left and right, we need up, we need bottom, sorry, we should be margin bottom. So let's say 0 pixels, 0 pixels. And I normally do it because in the future, if I want to have margin for the top and bottom, so I can straight up add it, say 0 pixels. So it's gonna, all right, so with the error, section 1, h1 margin, oh, looks fine. Okay, then I want some sort of an error, bracket error. What is that? Okay, all right, so I'm doing SAS here, it's CSS. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry guys, you know, I'm just used to doing SAS, you know, I do a lot of SAS here, so forgot. Anyway, so we got section 1, let's give the h1, and let's change the, as I said, let's give it a margin. Let's say 0 pixels, up, bottom, right 0, and a bottom of 20 pixels and a 0 pixels, and just simple like that, right? So now we have like a 20 pixels gap over there, so let's make it to 25 pixels. All right, and now what I want to do, I want to, you know, edit this. So let's say font family, I'm going to use a inbuilt font. Okay, let's call this Inter. So I'm just going to use an inbuilt font rather than using a from Google Forms. It doesn't matter anyway. Okay, so backup font of sans serif. Okay, let's keep that up also, and I guess I can change the font weight if I'm locally, I'm not sure. Let's make it, see, I guess 400. No, I don't think, but in Google Fonts you can change the font weight and stuff. So let's make it just 400, sorry, 500 for now, and let that be. And now we wanna be, yeah, that thing is actually done. We can customize it that in a bit, and now we're gonna just target the H section 1. Okay, section 1, and it's gonna be the class of colors, right? So colors, and this, it's gonna have a width of, actually, if you see, come and see here, it's not, you know, it's not here, right? It's not flexed up here, it's actually in the middle, something like that. So you know, we can give it a width of maybe 80%. It's gonna go like that, and we can say margin 0, auto to simply center it, or just auto, margin auto to center that, right? So that's it. And now we want to just get display grid, right? So nothing is just going to happen now, but we have to define the grid template. So we have to say grid template, and oops, let's say grid template columns, and now we can repeat this by, we need actually 5 times to repeat that, so 5 times by 1 fr, right? Something like that. So if you see, we only have 4, so we'll copy and paste one more because we have 5 colors to put in. So let's do it like that, and there we go, we have a column there. So nice and cool. So pretty easy, right? So now what we're gonna do, we have colors over there, but now we're gonna just get this section 1, and you want to get that color, sorry, let's get that color div, the whole div, and now we want to basically get that color, right? That color. And now what I want to do, I mean, not the colors, just a color, and inside that we have a class of color img, right? We do have a class of color img. So let's go and check it, let's verify that, right? So do we have that? So let's quickly come, we have color img. So we're going to have a color to it. So basically we have to have a width to it in the first place. It has to take let's give it in 200 pixels, then width, I don't think we should be 200 pixels. So width we're not gonna divide down, but the height has to be 200 pixels. Let's make the color just red for now, right? If you see, something is there, but we are not able to see that. It's not because it's not the color, it's actually background color. right background color, and if you see, we have it. Now the whole div is not actually red. Now you can see this by giving a grid gap, right? So grid 20 pixels, and if you give, oops, it's actually column, okay, if you see column, and there we go. That's it. Like simply, very simple. We can achieve something like that. So first of all, I want to expand this right now, so you can pretty much see how we're going to do it. So this is how for now it is, right? So what we want to do, we can pretty much we can make this width of 75%, so it's going to be more thinner. And now we can, the h1 we can just give a margin of, I don't know, like 35 pixels maybe for now, just for the dummy data. And then we can just copy the same thing here, okay? And it's not img, it's going to be text, okay? And I want to give it a margin top of 15 pixels, and just change the font size for font family to Inter, right? So the basic font which we used before. And if you see, that looks nice, right? So what did I do? What happened to the margin? Okay, it's margin top. Let's give margin bottom then. Okay, let's get rid of that, and let's give it here to the image itself, right? Let's give it margin bottom. So it's just preference, guys, doesn't matter, right? So we have given it, and now the h1's margin, okay, so we have an error. Okay, simply just make it 35 again, and it's gonna be like that. That's what we want, right? So now what we want to do, we need to expand the height of this, so we can expand. We need to make it a bit, you know, yeah, just as same as this, and we need to have a good grid column gap, right? I'm sorry, I can't spell that properly. Okay, so now looks cool. So now what we want to do, we want to go for the main div, this one, okay? So which is the div called colors, and we need to give this a background, right? So which is going to be pure white background, and let's make it FFF. Now if you see, there's no any effect, but there is a background. I can inspect and show you right here. Okay, that is a background. They do have a background. So for you to get that, we can just, you know, as they use, we can use a drop shadow. Let's first of all give it a basic boiler box shadow, so 1 pixel, and let's give it 0, and now you can see they sort of have one, okay, box shadow. So now what we are going to do, I'm just going to put this to 40 pixels, and there we go. That's what we sort of need. And we actually don't need here though, we actually need it, I mean, yeah, we need the background, not here. I'm sorry about that. We need to have this inside. First of all, let's copy this and put it here, and then we want to get color, just a color div, and then we want to assign it a background color of, for now, FF. I mean, it is just default in FF, and we give a box shadow, and this will take one. Let's make it for the default one 0.4 pixel. Now it just gives a very small light shadow, 0.4 pixel. This is what I use in most of my client work and my you know, okay, yeah, so simply something like that. In my company, simple like that. I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're gonna reduce the transparency very low, and okay, this is, you cannot even see anything inside there. So let's make it a bit high. If you see, we get that so let's make it a bit more. Okay, this is too much. What am I doing? Reduce that. Okay, so I guess sort of looks like that. Okay, now we have to give padding to it, so we can say padding top, we have to give 5 pixels, and I guess top and bottom 5 pixels should do, I guess. No, so let's make it 15. Okay, yeah, something like that. Okay, this is what we want. This is the style that we're trying to achieve. Let's make it 20 pixels. That's more. Let's 15. I think it's a good amount. And then we have to say we have a border radius, right? And the border radius could be 14 pixels or so. All right, that just fits same as that. Yeah, it is 14 pixels, I guess. And if you see, we have less padding in the top and the more padding in the right. Okay, so we can achieve that using more padding, just not just 15 pixels, we can use more. So the top we can give around 8 pixels, okay, and in the right we have to give it should be equal, isn't it? So we can just say 20 pixels, 10 pixels, and a 20 pixel of radius in the bottom. Okay, so that's what we need. By the way, this should be bottom, so let's make 20 here, and let's make this one 10. Okay, all right, so that's what we need. So sort of just looks like that. Okay, not matching, but just looks like that, right? So what we want to do at this point, I guess, just looks like that, right? So now what we want to do, we want to sort of get this down. So if I go to the H1, it's better practice to use min heights and padding when you're doing responsiveness, because that's the way it pretty much works properly. So if you see this responsive video, that's what they teach you, right? So I want to go to the margin. We have section here, so I'm not going to give a margin here, but let's get rid of that and let's give margin to the color, the color div, right? So we have the same margin top, and let's give 100 pixels. That's so much, that's a lot. As I told, it's a lot, it's very lot. So let's make it 60 pixels, and 60 should do, I guess. Looks nice. Okay, so the font doesn't match, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, all right, so now what I want to do, guys, I need to set, you know, for each and every one I have to set a different color. So what we could use, we can use int child, right? So we have an image here. Now we can do copy the whole thing, right? We need the whole thing, paste it, and here you can say a pseudo element. So let's say int child, and for the first one, let's say we need a background color of, copy this, paste it, of, for example, blue. Let's see whether it's working, right? If you see, all right, so there's an error. Int child of 1, everything's turning blue. So what can we do? Okay, let's change it to 3. Okay, so basically the target, we're targeting in the wrong element, I guess. So what we could do, we can target the color, okay, and in that div we can target the int child of that, right? So I'm gonna go copy this, okay, copy this dot color, and let's say dot color. I think I'm just doing the same thing. Okay, so even if you don't want to get into this hassle, sometimes because your div is wrapped up inside another div, sometimes the int child and those might not work. So because of that, you can have different colors to it, right? So let's create a color palette right in the top. Okay, right in the top. So let's go here and fetch those colors, just simple as that. So the first one is this one, so which is that off white. So let's say dot off white. Okay, so this would have a background color, it doesn't mind background, just simple like that. So that's off white, and now this is gonna be to I can just do light gray, sort of like a light gray or something. So let's say dot light gray. Okay, so we shouldn't take much time on this, so let's quickly finish this up. So any class which has a light gray, we need to copy, sorry, we have to copy this one that's light gray. So same story, background, and we'll put this color, and now another one should be, the next one should be this orange, right? So I don't know what's that color, but just looks like a light orange. So just say light orange, it doesn't matter, it's okay. So let's say light orange. So let's copy the light orange and let's say background. Okay, and we put this color, and we do have light orange, and now we have to have dark gray. So let's say dark gray, and we have to have a background. Oops, let's say background, and the background should be this one, right? So you know, the dark, I guess this one, I guess, yeah, the 678, I believe. Okay, this one. Some of the colors are pretty, well, sometimes different. I don't know, they have some issues, you know, generating colors or something. I'm not sure about it. but yeah, we will get the dark one. It's easy. And now we have to the last one though, it's gonna be red, so let's say dark, or let's call it mid red, and here we can paste the background color. So background color, or just background, let's be using background and everything, let's use background itself. So the red here, so it's sort of like a magenta, but I'm not sure about the colors now, gradient colors. All right, so what we could do is that we can come here, and if you have a, we can remove the color here. Okay, we don't need red here, so we can just leave this as normal, and we have just a simple background. If you see, we have off white, so I'm just going to go for the first one, and let's say off white, and if I save it, you're simply going to get that color, simple like that. And the second one, I guess, should be light gray, so we can just say light gray, and if we come back and see, it's going to be light gray. I guess that's light gray. Yeah, it is light gray. Okay, so the third one, we can see light orange, so let's say light orange. Okay, so let's take a look at last, and this one is going to be dark gray, and the final one should be, I guess, mid red I gave. Okay, so that's it. So when if you take a look, there we go, just looks perfect and nice. Yeah, it just looks nice. I think we have to reduce the width, and it's just gonna, you know, take up something like this. And yeah, we'll actually, as I told, I will make it responsive, so don't worry about that. It just looks as what we saw here. Okay, so just the fonts are a bit different. I'm not sure with the, I can customize the local fonts. So anyway, we have to get that color text, we have to get that p tag, I guess. That's what we had. I get, no, we just had the text over there, so it doesn't matter. So let's say font weight, and let's give it 500. The fonts are just not working properly, but it's fine, just leave it like that. I guess we have to mess with the border radius. Then let's make this border radius to around 20 pixels, and just looks something like that. That's what we want. I think that's too much. Yeah, that is. So let's make 12. I think 12 fits. Yeah, 12 should fit. Okay, so that's what we have, and the gap between it is also enough and steady, something like that. Just looks perfectly like that. Okay, so as I told, we'll do the next button. Let's quickly do it. So we have to come back in the section, so we're gonna get off the section, and inside this we're gonna have a button, right? So simple button. So let's go here, and let's just give it, let's say this is going to be a oops, sorry. So let's say it's going to be a footer or something, or let's make it section 2, right? Let's make section 2, it's not a footer. So we have a section with the class of section 2, and inside that we have a button. So let's say button with a class of btn, simple, so I can type it there. So it's going to be, what is that? So it's going to be generate, right? Okay, simple as that. It's going to be generate. It's generate palette. So where's that palette text? I don't want to copy that. All right, so now I'll go generate btn and paste it here, and if you see, there we go, we have that, right? And now we also need a text, so let's just say a p tag, and what are this thing? I'll just press the space bar to generate new palettes, right? It's gonna say, or just, what's that? Okay, or just press the space, oops, space bar to generate new pal. Okay, that's it then. New palettes, and a full stop there, and this space bar should be 1, and it should be wrapped up in a quotes. Okay, simple. All right, so that's simple. That's what we need. Okay, or just press spacebar to get the palettes, right? So that's what we need. And then at the end, we can just have it here in the section itself. So we can say we need another, let's say H4. So this one could be click to copy. Okay, let's stop that out. I just don't typing that much. So let's say click to copy. Okay, so click to copy individual color, and we have sort of like a dot there. So we're not going to do that here, so you just need to do some simple CSS. So we'll just leave a full stop there and say, let's say press the capital C button, right, to copy palettes. Why doesn't it generate palettes? All right, so that's what we need, palettes. Okay, so, and it should be simple P. All right, so let's go and take a look. This looks nice, and that's what we're gonna just customize it, right? So let's go here. We have section 2, so let's say section 2, and obviously we need this to be sectioned, section 2 to be centered. So we can say text align, center that, and it should be centered, right? The button and everything should be centered, right? And we need to give it a margin top. We need to bring this down, so we can say margin top of 100 pixels, and it will take here something like that. And now what I want, I will have a section 2, and we have something called a button, which is the button, and then we're going to customize that. First of all, I want to say font family of we'll be using Inter. Okay, so by the way, it should be btn dot btn. Okay, and if you see, it has the class of, you know, btn, the button Inter, right? And now we want to say font size, and let's make it 20 pixels. Okay, and we have 20 pixels, and we need to give it a padding, so let's 5 pixels on the top and a 20 pixels on the right hand side, because it's pretty much large. So let's make it, I don't know, 40, I guess 40, and let's make this 10 maybe. Oops, let's make this, okay, let's make it 10 pixels. Okay, and now that's what we need. And now, simple as that, we can give it a background color. So let's get the background color. Let's quickly go here. They pretty much don't give all the colors. That's the only issue that they have. So that's why I have a great tool with me called just color picker. I just leave this in the description. You just have to come right here, and whatever color you want to select, press Alt and X, and you get the color, and you just copy that and you use it wherever you want happily, right? So you can paste it somewhere like that. It's going to change its color, and if you see, that's the white color. Okay, all right, and now we want to get that border. I'll say border is none, and then remove the border as well. Let's get the color and just turn it into magic white. Okay, that's what we need. And if there's any border radius, yes, there is some border radius. So let's say border radius of 10 pixels, and that's gonna go something like that. And that's a bad border radius, I guess. So 5 pixels should be a correct one. So let's make it 5, or probably 7 to 8, I guess. 7 should look nice. Okay, and the thing that makes it stand out is that the font. Okay, I'm not sure what font they're actually using, but it's actually fine. We can just leave it as it is. Put it like that. Okay, so now if I come back, looks okay. So the font is just doesn't matter. I'm gonna make this 17 pixels, a bit small, or maybe like 18. Okay, we just do not need that much. And now we're gonna copy this border radius, border box shadow. I'm gonna give this box shadow just to this button as well. So I guess there's a simple little simple box shadow that's actually going on. So you can make, if you make it darker, you can see that. So we can simply reduce it amount somewhere here maybe. Okay, so it's gonna give it a good effect. And then simply we have to change this to 25 or something, just to make sure it looks nice, and rather reduce this. Okay, and now that's okay. And the next thing that we're gonna do, we want to target this section 2. So let's say section 2, and now we want to basically grab this this p tag, right? So let's say section 2 p tag. Okay, so let's say section 2 p tag, and now what we want to do, we want to give it a font family, which is also Inter, right? I probably should have given it in the, oops, let's make it Inter, right? And then we also need to, at least we can just come here and say font family Inter. I think that's the most correct process to do it, rather than repeating ourselves and repeating code, which is a bad habit. Okay, so the p tag will have, I think, a font size of 20 pixels, a bit enlarged, right? So we need that to pop up, because that's one of the important things that we need. And let's make this also 18 pixels, just as a button font, and we'll give a margin top of 30 pixels. So to bring it down, and yeah, 30 pixels should be that. And let's copy this up, Control V to paste it, and here we will target the H4, which is also going to be the same thing. So we need to put it down, right? And if you see, it's going to be like that. We need to put the H4 pretty much like 55 pixels down, or else even 65, right? Something like that. And now what we want to do is that we have to mess with the font to weight. We need it to be 400, okay, something like that. And I need the font pixel to be 15 pixels or at least 16 pixels. Oh, I guess no, that's a bad font here. And now we're going to say a background. We need this to be pure white, right? So if you see, the button here is super white, so the body background itself has a different color. So let's go here, let's grab that all text to grab that color, let's copy that. So I actually just now I noticed it, right? So my bad. So let's say body, let's say background. I'm trying to finish this as fast as possible rather than wasting much time explaining each and every step. So let's say background, and let's put in hashtag, paste it. And now let's go take a look at that. So okay, so that's what we need. Now it looks really nice, I guess, because everything is just popping up more, rather before it wasn't. So here, the reason it's there, it's because it's displayed block. So we can say display inline block to get rid of that, and it's just going to be on that itself. We can give a padding of 10 pixels and a 20 pixels, and that should look nice. Okay, and if you see here, the border radius is actually like 50 pixels, so we can give it a border radius of 50 pixels. Yeah, should be done. Looks, I think this just looks nice. Just looks, I think we have mapped the whole thing up. And obviously we have to change the font size to 16 pixels. We have to increase the padding top to, I think, 15. No, that's too much. Maybe like 12 pixels. We have to make this a bit wide to 25 pixels, and I guess we did it. It just looks nice, right? I hope it just looks nice. And the color, we're not gonna leave it at black. Okay, we just have a custom color. We'll put this one, maybe the dark one, just looks fine, I guess. Yeah, I just don't need this to pop up, right? So we have generate palette, and this should be a cursor pointer. So let's go for the button, and let's say cursor pointer. Okay, that's what we need. So it's going to be a cursor pointer, simple as that. And now on the top, let's quickly do it. We're going to do this one. Okay, just the same thing. So on the top, before everything gets started in the body, so you want to say dot alert. So let's have a div here called alert div. Okay, and we just want to have a p tag of saying what, okay, color blah 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 has been copied. So let's say color hashtag ffffff, it doesn't matter. Copy to clipboard, copy to clipboard, right? Oops, board, right? So that's simply it. If you come here and see, it's gonna look here. So let's quickly go up, right, above every section, because it is above every section. So let's get the alert div and text align, center that, so it's gonna hopefully be centered here. And we have to give the margin top, oops, top of 40 pixels. Okay, so it's gonna come like here. And now simply is that I can just copy the whole code here, because it's just gonna look pretty much like that. So we can paste it inside the alert div here. Okay, so it's gonna like completely be like this, where we could just say margin top, or we can say, the best thing is to say margin. So we need 60 pixels, and we need auto here. We need 0 pixels, and we need another auto. So it's gonna center that. Oops, I guess we have an issue here, is that we didn't text align center. Okay, because we replace anything, there's an issue. Alright, so basically what happened is that we need all this starting to go onto the p tag, not here, right? So let's get that alert div, let's get rid of that, and let's go alert div, let's get its p tag. Okay, and then paste all the stylings, and it should look just as that. Okay, as you guys can see, the font should be Inter, so let's say font family should be Inter, and that's what we have right there, Inter. And the color should be, I guess, let's make the background to color here, color to white, and the background to actually, I guess it should be dark, it should be pure black. Or let's grab a color picker tool for now quickly and get that color. Okay, let's grab a color picker tool. It should be Ctrl X, and that's sort of a black, so we can change this to this one, and quickly we can say background color. Okay, and now if you take a look, all right, so it just looks nice. And I guess just look, okay, it's copied, so it's copied to your clipboard, so let's copy it to your clipboard, and let's make it this F9, some sort of a color. Just want to have something like that. Okay, so if you see, all right, so that's what we have a simple color picker. And I also wanted to say, you know, just the margin top, we can reduce it, right? We can reduce the margin top here to 75 pixels, and maybe like, okay, 70 pixels maybe. And I guess just looks nice, I guess, just looks. And the button is the only problem we have, because it doesn't look as the button which is there. I just noticed it right now. So we can, I guess we have to make this 20 pixels. We need to enlarge that, and we need to make this, I guess, 70 pixels. And if you see, okay, so let's make it, I think it should be 150 pixels, something like that. And yes, we have to make a short little adjustment. So let's make this around 18, and the border radius, we could make this 5 pixels. It looks nice, and I guess we have done it. Hopefully just a simple video, just looks nice. And now the responsive part, it's very simple. Everything looks perfectly. So what we want to do at a point of at media, okay, all and max width, okay, oops, max width. When it hits a max width, for example, now it's going to be max width of 768 pixels, which is going to be a tablet, 768 pixels. Okay, I'm not going to do this in a hurry, so let's make it slow. So 768 pixels of media, all max width is 768 pixels. We need to do a couple of stuff. So the first thing they want to do, just one stuff, not going to do anything, not going to do everything, just simple as that. If you come here, we have this class, so we want to just decrease the what could you say, just the grid column, right? So I'm going to get rid of everything, okay, just simple as that. And now if you see, we have 5 here. I need to make this 3 or something when it hits that particular, you know, something like that. There we go. So it's going to be 3. So to make it nice, let's make it 1, so which is going to look wider. You could just simply use something like I don't know, something like width to reduce it. You can do it, it's not a big deal. So you can say grid row gap, so let's say row gap, actually it should be a gap. We can say 40 pixels maybe, and it's going to have a nice little pixel. And when it hits over here, so we can just copy the same thing, okay, something like this, and we can make it around 600 pixels. We need this to be 1, okay, so it's going to be like that. So now if you see, we have a big, it just doesn't look nice, so we can simply go say width of 50%, so it's going to look like that, simple as that. So this is just a responsiveness. You can do the same thing for the button, everything here, so it's going to look nice if you do it. And also the button, you can reduce the width. And okay, so let's do it, doesn't matter. Okay, let's do it. I just wanted to keep this tutorial less than 40 minutes. It's 39 minutes, but still, let's do it, because it's a responsiveness is also a bit important when it comes to coding. So we need to get this button, right? Okay, so I'm sorry for the call, guys. So let's remember to get this button. So let's make this 1, and let's just make this width to 50%, right? So let's make it 50%. And if you come down and see, that's going to be 50%, but the text has dropped. you know, because we have padding. Let's make the padding 0, and that should completely work. And now we have to mess with the padding, so let's make it 10 pixels on the top. When it comes to phone, we have to make sure it just looks pretty neat. And let's get 30 pixels right nicely, something like that. Let's make this, we need this to be 20 pixels because we need this to be a bit high. And let's make this not 50 though, we'll make it 70. Okay, so it looks nice, and there we go, it just looks nice and clean. And the next thing that I want to do is this particular one. We can reduce its width. So let's say this, copy this one, let's come down over to this media query. Okay, so just reduce the width to around 80%. So now it's gonna go to the side, so we have to center that. And simply you can see by margin, you can say margin auto, and if you just say auto, I think the top is just gonna go. There we go, we have that issue. So we can just say, I guess, 20 pixels, you know, whatever we gave, and the bottom we need 0 pixels, and then auto. And we have, okay, so that's just looks like that. And in a phone, mobile phone, you don't need to be super big like that. We can reduce it to 16 pixels. It's going to look a bit small. And the next one we have is this one. So let's take the H4 here. So I know this video has been a bit longer than I thought, but it's fine because I didn't really have the idea of doing the responsiveness, but I thought it's a good thing to do it. So yeah, obviously the first thing that I want to do is to reduce the font size to something like 13 pixels. That only would just give a good effect. And margin top 65, that's a bit too much. Let's make it 20, so a bit less, I guess. 20 should do, I guess. Let's make it 25. And okay, so that's it then. We have everything nice. And this one, when it comes to the first one, so we can say .alert div. We can come over to this media query. So you want to say alert div, and margin top, let's make it 30 pixels, and it's gonna, oops, let's make it 0 pixels. And okay, so I guess 0 pixels should do. Okay, so we have space. And now when it comes to here, we can sort of get the body, right? So let's get the body, and just make this min height of 130 VH. Okay, so we have, it's not working. Okay, now we have a big, it's too much, right? We need to just have it 200 VH. I just wanted to show you that we can scroll beyond this. Okay, let's make it 300 VH. Okay, so I just want to show you this one. Okay, so you can increase the width of the section and the height of the section to achieve. So normally we don't use body. That's not the good case to do it, but I just want to show, I just wanted to do it. Okay, all right, so that's been it for the video. And if you just take a look here, not this one, the whole thing just looks nice and responsive. Maybe in the next video we can sort of like look into how we can click on that and to get get an alert popping up doing in JavaScript. But for now, this is it. Thank you so much for watching. It's 43 minutes. Sorry if it take a long while. I'm very sorry about that, but more videos are coming up in the future. Anyway, that's it. Leave a like if you love it, and I'll see you in the next video.